Hello chess friends, and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel, and welcome to the round 18 of the Grand Chess Tour in 2019 in the St. Louis Chess Club. So after 18 rounds we have a new leader. It's the top grandmaster Ding Liren. Here are the current standings of this very nice tournament. Ding Liren 11.5 points. We have Maxim Vasilograf with 11 points, and Levon Aronian and Sergei Karakin with 10.5 points. Magnus Carlsen only 8.5 points, rank 7, and Fabiano Caruana also not so good in this tournament. What to say about Ding Liren? He's basically unbeatable with the white pieces. He has a certain opening repertoire. He plays most often the same lines, the same openings, and he's unbeatable with the white pieces. He has his troubles with the black pieces, and today I wanted to show you a very nice game played against Fabiano Caruana. So we have the third player in the world against the second player in the world. So the game, of course, cannot be boring at all. So here c4 by Ding Liren. e5, we have g3, knight on c6, bishop on g2. We have now the English opening with the reverse Sicilian setup. If you could just imagine from white's perspective, it would be e4 c5. We have here c4 e5, so a little bit reverse Sicilian setup, which is common. Here g6, Caruana goes now well into a sort of King's Indian setup. After d3 or e3, white will always coordinate the attack, will try to attack here on the queen side because of this direction of the pawns. And here after potential d6, and black's idea would be to place the move f5 and try to have a kingside attack. So these are these opposite side attack games, although maybe both of the sides will castle on the same side, but still you have to coordinate your attack where your pawns are aiming. So that's why here knight on c3, we have bishop on g2, now e3. You see immediately preparation, knight from g2 e2, and then if the position allows it, maybe even to launch an early center pawn breakthrough with the move d4. Knight from g2 e7, you see Caruana is also preparing some f5 moves, and here knight on from g2 e2, castling, and castling also by Ding Liren. As said, here idea for white, maybe central pawn breakthrough or queenside attack. The black's idea is of course to have a kingside attack. Here d6 played by Caruana, and now d3. Here Ding Liren goes into a more calm line with the preparation, maybe rook on b1, and then a very important move in this types of variation is this knight on d5, which then after knight takes on d5 and c takes d5 will deflect this knight. This knight will then go again maybe on e7, but then you can try maybe rook on c1 and the c file would be open. So these are the main ideas from white's perspective. From black's perspective, as said, is this kingside attack. Rook on b8 played by Caruana. Caruana is trying to battle on the queen side immediately, but now b3. Also calm line here by Ding Liren. We have a6 by Caruana, and now bishop on b2. We have now double fianchetto. It was not played in a top grandmaster level, these types of variations, but here it's a blitz game. You can try it out, of course. Still the idea remains, you can still play knight on d5, and after c takes knight on d5, still you can open the d file, the c file, pardon me. And here Caruana tried this immediate queenside attack with the move b5. So it was a little bit weird, this attack by Fabiano Caruana. I expected really here this common f5 move. Here it was really challenging now Ding Liren on the queen side, and here Ding plays simply waiting here, queen on d2. He has now finished his development. He has connected the rooks, he has played with all of his minor pieces, has castled, and of course he's waiting now Fabiano Caruana what will do here on the queen side. Here bishop on d7 played by Caruana, and now rook from a to c1. Set the idea, knight on d5. We have h5 now by Caruana, and this is now, I don't know about this move, why. Here Ding Liren played h4 in order to stop some h4 possibilities, because then the pawn structure around the white king would be a weak one. But maybe a better way would have been here to play the move b5, b4, immediately attacking the knight after knight on d5. Then maybe to try this move f5. This would be this attack, you have fixed your problems here on the queen side. So Ding Liren is doesn't have any more the opportunity to play his attack on the queen side. Now f5 is possible. I think you have also get out of this very annoying diagonal by this bishop. But here h5, as said, h5 and h4 was played, and now bishop on g4. And this is now, well, again, sort of a slight inaccuracy by Fabiano Caruana. This bishop doesn't bring you so much. Now your f5 idea doesn't work because of this potential f3 move. The bishop, I think, was perfectly fine here on d7. It has good diagonals, so it covers two diagonals, and it also has some defensive functions because it defends this knight on c6. So bishop on g4, as mentioned here. Now finally knight on d5, and we have knight on d5 by Caruana, c takes d5, and now knight on e7. And you see now how problematic this bishop on g4 is. You cannot play anymore this move f5. You would love to, because now you have fixed some these problems. Okay, you have the weak c7 pawn, but f5 would be the main idea, because the pawn structure is a little bit fixed. There is no there are no dynamic possibilities here for white immediately to create a pawn breakthrough. Here rook on c2, Ding is playing simply on the c file, and now we have queen on d7 trying to protect this very weak c7 pawn. Rook on c1 was played, and now rook on c8 defending. Maybe a better idea would have been maybe even to cover this c7 with the rook from b to c8. Then you would still have the support of this rook on the f file. Rook from f to c8 was played, and now king on h2 by Ding Liren improves the position of the king, and now queen on d8. d4 played by Ding Liren, and this was also now his slight inaccuracy, I think, because now maybe Caruana should have taken here this knight on e2, deflecting the queen from the defense of this d4, and now maybe e takes d4, and after bishop takes on d4, you see we would have then a weird pawn structure, although you still have the c7 weakness, and the knight is a little bit out of game. But here you have really you don't have any more the troubles from white's perspective. White doesn't have any more this bishop pair, which can be really annoying, but you have some troubles with this bishop on h3 move. And here if you try bishop on h3 immediately, there is this tactical line. You can maybe try knight takes on d5, and after bishop takes here, it's still playable for black, because with these weaknesses here on like squares, black has also some counterplay here. I think it's playable, but the main problem still stays this very weak c7 pawn. So as said, d4 played by Ding Liren. We have b4 closing the position on the queen side, and now e4. So now Ding Liren is searching really for some pawn breakthroughs here. He wants to open the position because he has placed all of his pieces on active squares. Here rook on b6 was played, and now knight on g1. E takes d4, bishop takes, queen takes on d4, and now you see now the weaknesses around black's king. Now you see this h5 move has weakened the pawn structure even more so that Fabiano Caruana has played. I think it was unnecessary. You see this bishop didn't do anything in the continuation of the game. c5 was played by Fabiano Caruana, now finally closing the position, improving the position finally of this c7 pawn, because this was the main weakness. But okay, queen on e3 played by Ding Liren, and now we have queen on f8. Knight on h3, rook on e8, and now very important move, queen on f4. This queen is basically unchallengeable here on this very nice square. We want to play f3 and then g4, and of course the queen from the square f4 supports both of these moves. Now knight on c8 was played, and now knight on g5. You see how bad it is to play sometimes with your pawn, because if you wouldn't have played this h5 move, now you would still have the possibility to play this h6, which would be very important to kick away now this very nice outpost of this knight. Here rook on b7, probably the idea to have a defensive setup here on the 7th rank, because now you see the knight is attacking here and the queen are also attacking this f7, and now bishop on f1 played by Ding Liren, a5, and now bishop on a6, rook on c7, and now f3. Very important move. We are kicking away the bishop, bishop on d7, and now g4. So these are easy moves now for Ding Liren because black's pieces are too paralyzed. I think h takes g4, f takes g4, with the idea to just even push more forward. Knight on a7 was played, and now rook on f2, and now bishop on b5. Bishop takes, knight takes, and the problem is now that this knight is too far away from the defense of the king, and now Ding Liren plays simply straightforward. Rook on f1, we have now 4 attackers against this pawn on f7, and here Caruana tried some counterplay with queen on h6, and Ding Liren missed here a move. He should have played here knight takes on f7, maybe after queen on h4 we can go king on g2, but after knight on c3, here again knight on g5, very annoying. You can also play rook on h1 ideas, so this will be completely winning here for white. After queen on h6, king on h2 was played, still Ding Liren has a better position. The f7 weakness remains. That's why rook on e7 had to be played, but now queen on f6. You see, Ding Liren is simply using now all of these weaknesses. Queen on g7, Caruana is trying to improve the position, but now simply h5, simply going straight forward. Queen takes f6, rook takes on f6, and now we have attacked this pawn, this d6 weakness. This knight is basically stuck to the defense of this d6, and it was basically game over, but you have to still play accurate here. G takes h5 was played by Caruana. We have g takes h5, and now a mistake, knight on c3, and here Ding Liren played the best move, rook on g1. Of course you cannot take knight takes on e4. It's not about anymore getting the knight, because you have a very nice discovered attack by this knight with the move e6, and if you move the king here on h8 you get checkmated on h6. The same idea if you try king on h7 here, then we have rook on g7 first, and king on g8, and then rook on h6 again. So if you try here something like king on f8, then knight on h7 would be the idea. If after king on e8, then here simple rook on d6. The idea is to play here rook on g8 even with the checkmate, so you have to play here move maybe rook on d7, but now you have to fork on the king and the rook, and you lose some material. We have a pass pawn, and this is of course a completely winning endgame here for white. So that's why king on g7 was played, but now rook on d6, simple idea, nothing special. Here king on f8, and here knight on h7, and in this position Caruana resigned because you have to play king on e8, and then you get checkmated here by the rook on g8. Great attack by Ding Liren. As said, Ding Liren takes the lead. Great tournament so far. As I said, Levon Aronian was playing very well in this rapid format, lost many games in this blitz format. Maybe he should have gone after this rapid and go home. He's playing now, well, he's losing too many games. If he wants to stay on top, he has to win maybe in a game in the direct match against Ding Liren. We'll see what will happen today. New matches, will still have 9 rounds. I'm really looking forward, because we had really many surprises, but also great games, and we'll see you soon with some other chess games here from the Grand Chess Tour in the St. Louis Chess Club. I really hope that you enjoyed this game. I enjoyed it also a lot. I'm repeating myself, but I'm enjoying really this tournament. It was really one of my best tournaments to see this year, and I hope you enjoy my coverages of these games, because we'll see what will happen also, and I'll try to publish even more games in the continuation of this very nice tournament. Okay, meanwhile you can watch my other commented chess games from this tournament so far that I've analyzed. Here are the links, and you can also subscribe to my channel if you like this content. Thank you for watching, guys, and chess is the best, of course.